Today, let's take a trip into outer space and look at the world and the stars and the planets around us. Today's exercise is a little bit different in that the drawing was drawn with a watercolor brush instead of a Sharpie. I'm going to show you examples of work where they used oil pastel to draw with, and then they covered it with watercolor. And you can see you get this wonderful crayon resist effect. Very nice. This one was drawn entirely with a small brush, a watercolor brush, and then filled in with watercolor. Here's another crayon resist and watercolor, drawn with watercolor and then washed over with watercolor, drawn with watercolor. And what they did here is they changed the line color as they moved around the earth. That's a really nice effect. And then this is oil pastel drawing and then covered with watercolor, so it creates crayon resist. Okay, you can choose whatever medium you would like to use for this exercise. This is the simple drawing. We're going to try that, but you can use oil pastels, crayons, or watercolor to draw with, and then you fill in with watercolor. Okay, let's give this a try. Now, I recommend that you use a brush, a thin watercolor brush to draw with today. And you'll notice I'm also using a smudged piece of paper. That's okay because we're going to cover it in watercolor. All right, now I'm going to start with the earth, and I'm going to start my circle of the earth, and I'm going to stop and change colors, add color to that watercolor while it's wet, and I'm going to pick that up where I ended and go around with a little bit of red. Then I'm going to stop, pick it up right there, let that bleed in together. And I'm going to add another color, go around this. So remember, this is a forgiving piece. That's the fun of it, is to just draw with the looseness of your brush. And I'm going to get a little red here because I want to end here. There's my earth. Very forgiving. Okay, now I'm going to start a little bit of the land mass. And it doesn't have to be exact, but if you know the shapes of the continents, that would be great. But if not, no problem. And I'm also changing the color here too. I want to keep adding colors to my line. This is sort of North America and Canada a little bit. And then I'll come down here with South America. If you know your continents, this is really fun. And remember, stop the videotape if I'm going too fast. I'm going fairly fast, and I know you might be going slow. There. Now let's add a little bit of England and Europe, Spain, Portugal, and then Japan and Hawaii. Okay? That's my earth. See how forgiving this is? It doesn't really have to be perfect. Now I'm going to use my oil pastel, though, to make Saturn. So I'm going to do a little curve like that for Saturn. And then I'll add the planet part. Remember, it's very forgiving. Reaching across. And I think for stars, I'll use oil pastel also and do some yellow stars. And maybe I'll do some plain white stars. And then I think I'll do some planets. Oh, I want to do Mars. Isn't Mars red? Yeah, let's color that one in. And I'll do some down here. Really loose. Okay. I'm going to let you guys go, but let me show you. When I cover this with watercolor, look what happens. Oh, that's wonderful. See those little stars and planets showing up? That's what you want to do. And remember, watercolor dances on the page, so be sure to let this bleed into the color. Let the watercolors bleed into each other here. This makes a really nice sky. Okay? All right, I'm going to let you guys go. And you have fun with this one. And I'll show you the examples again so you can have an idea of how you'd like to draw this and color it, okay? All right, I'm going to show you some examples, and then you guys have some fun. Let's see. I tried to copy that by making the line change colors that went around the earth. Here's one that's done entirely in watercolor. This is crayon resist so that the stars show up. Even the planets are outlined in crayon, which makes a nice effect that we just did. Here's a watercolor. Here's crayon resist. And then here's what we started with, which was entirely drawn with a watercolor brush and then painted with watercolor. Okay, now you guys go to it. Bye.